This video was originally recorded autumn 2018 at the annual Dr. Nida program at Menla. To learn more about programs at Menla Retreat, please visit their website at menla.org.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Are you dreaming?
Yes.
Okay, let's do the breathing again.
What's that, Rick?
Non-purification breathing. Sit in Virochana posture. Virochana posture. Visualize your body as a hologram. Inside our empty body, we have 3 channels. Our body is full of stuffs, so it's good sometimes empty it. Your body is full of light, it's a hologram. 3 channels in the center of the body. 2 channels are open through 2 nostrils. So when we breath, the breath goes through the nostrils. So our inhalation, it goes under the navel and then coming back. Inhale deeply. Exhale deeply. And close your left nostril. Breathe in right side. Both hands together, same time. Close left nostril. With the Om Ahum 3 times, it's called the Vajra chanting. When I say Om, you inhale, Ah is a holding, Om is exhalation. Om, Ah, Om. Om, So it's important to remember the nature of our natural breath. It's Om, inhalation is Om, there's a sound of Om. Holding a small pause, and when you are holding inside is A, exhalation is Om. Inhalation is Om, holding is A, exhalation is Om. Om, white light goes in, red light, where is the red light? Here, and Hum, blue light coming out here. Om, white light in the head, Om, Om, Okay, you do that 7 times by yourself. Okay, so this breathing, you can listen to your breath. Okay, listen. When you listen, the sound of when it's very, very quiet and silent, you try to really listen your own breath, and you can hear the sound of inhalation. It's a Om. There's a little ah and o and m, Om. Okay? And then you hold, the holding part normally is very short. The holding part is a ah. Ah also is the sound of silence, there is no sound. Okay? So inhalation is Om, holding is ah, exhalation is Hum. And especially Hum if you exhale from your mouth. If you say hum, sometimes hum. When you say m, it's from the nose. When you close your lips, right? You exhale from your nose. It has this m sound, m. Hum, hum, hum. Can you say hum with your nostrils? It doesn't work, so it's easy. Hum, hum, hum. Okay, that's the difference. So this mantra has two ways to pronounce. One is hum. When you recite the mantra, it's better you say hum. Om, hum. Vajranguru Guna Siddhi Hum. Om Ahum Vajranguru Guna Siddhi Hum. Okay? Hum. But when you say hum, breathing hum is better with M. H-U dot or H-O-O and then M. Hum. Okay? Om A Hum. Om A Hum. Om A Hum. Om Okay, so in this Vajra chanting, our future goal, the main goal is to extend the A. Okay, if you count, let's say Om is like you can count 4 or 5. Om. Inhalation, right? Holding is very short, 1 or 2, and exhalation also 5. Inhalation, exhalation more or less equal, 5 in, 5 out. But the holding is like 1 or 2. Normally we don't hold much. And according to Vajrayana, so this is the reason that our mind is unstable. Okay, we have emotions, we're always thinking. We don't have this inner tranquility, The kind of anxiety. Actually, it's interesting, when people, they have panic attack, what happens? What's the main symptom? They can't breathe, right? There is no deep breath. There is no deep inhalation, there is no deep exhalation, and there is no holding. Panic attack, people, they say, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. I'm dying. I can't breathe. Like this. It's really funny. There's no Om Mahum. So that's the how do you say, highly agitated. Anxiety is a highly agitated state. Right? Then we see clearly our breath is affected. Do you understand? So that's a symptom. But if we do Om Mahum, and hold the A longer, so actually if you do Om Mahum, it's a anti-panic attack. So sometimes I tell this breathing to my patient when they suffer from panic attack. They should do this very often, and sometimes they feel panic attack is coming. If they are able to do this Om Mahum, and then it stops. Okay? So even we don't suffer from panic attack, it's good to do this because this is our original breath. This is our original mantra. That's why it's called the king of the mantras. Okay? Our inhalation, it's a mantra, it's Om, the famous Om. Our holding face is the primordial mantra, is the A, and exhalation is the famous mantra Hum. Om Ahum. Om is all Buddha's body, A is all Buddha's speech, Hum is all Buddha's mind. Actually, our breath has the nature of Buddha. Buddha's body is coming in, Buddha's speech is staying in, all Buddha's mind is going out. So that's why when we exhale, we are helping all sentient beings. Right? It's a Buddha breath. If you're mindful, if you know it, it's a Buddha breath. Because it's Om Ahum. So that's why here, yesterday when we had empowerment, Om, white Om is here, red A is here, blue Hum is here. Okay? So if you don't get the Om Mahum, just listen to your breath. Just to listen what your breath is saying. Your breath is talking. Your breath is speaking. Your breath is saying Om Ahum. Okay? Sometimes we say, oh, I don't understand other people. How we can understand other people? We don't understand our own breath. We don't know what our breath is telling us. Right? Every minute we breathe 15 times. Inhale, exhale. Every minute our breath is talking to us. Our breaths have been talking to us for so many years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 60 years, 80 years, we still don't understand. Okay? So that's part is ignorance. Like Professor yesterday was saying, unknowing, misknowing, marikpa, or timuk. So we have the nature, but we don't know. We have the Buddha breath, but we didn't recognize, we didn't know. Do you understand? Our problem is not having. Our problem is not knowing. Okay? And we think our problem is not having. I don't have Buddha nature, I don't have happiness, I don't have bliss, I don't have clear light, I don't have that. I don't have that, I want it. I don't have this, I want it. I don't have that, I want, Do you understand? That's called the Tawalopa, Talok. How do you translate?
Which one?
Tawalopa, Talok.
Tawalopa, that's a wrong worldview. Mistaken, unrealistic worldview, actually, is how I like to translate it.
Wrong
unrealistic worldview. Like wrong, false worldview, but unrealistic, I prefer unrealistic. Not knowing reality.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, if you know the reality, if you listen to the breath, there is a Om Ahum. And then you know Om Ahum is a Buddha breath, right? Om is a Berochana. Buddha Berochana is coming to us 15 times every minute, visiting us. And Buddha Amitayus is all time there. And Buddha Akshobhya is coming out from our heart 15 times per minute. Okay? So we need to listen to our breath, and then we need to look at our breath. If you look into our breath, you see the breath has a form, the form of Om. Inhalation. The the form of the is remaining inside, and the form of Hong is exhalation. It has a form and it has a color. Okay? So that's why, according to Guya Samaja Tantra, and this is called the speech training. Now Wimba,
No.
Speech isolation, now Wimba.
Yeah, speech isolation. Speech isolation. Speech being isolated from any impure thing, or separated from any impure thing. Lu and body isolated from any impure thing.
To understand the speech 100% way, what our speech is. Our speech is our breath. If you want to know what is the true nature of the breath, so we have to just focus on the breath itself. Not changing, not modifying. We have to hear it and we have to see it. Okay? Hear it and see it, and then we realize that the nature of the breath. But if our breath is mixed with exercises, running around, breathing fast, or we are talking with people because then our breath or our sound is mixed with other words and so on, so we are unable to hear our own voice, we are unable to see our own voice. Okay? So that's why Wemba means isolation. When you are in a very, very quiet place, like here in Menla, it's perfect place to experience this Vajra chanting, Dorje Dupa. You can listen to your breath, right? In the nature, normally we say listen to the nature, but it's better listen to your own breath. And also the meaning of listen to your body, You can listen to your body, but best way to listen to your body, the best access, best door is your speech. Okay? And if you see that, the nature of your breath, then you know the Om, the all Buddha's body, you know the A, all Buddha's speech, and you know Hum, all Buddha's mind. You know already three Buddhas. Three Buddha natures. And first Buddha in the head is Berochana, number Nangze. So that's one of the quality of our own Buddha nature. Everything can manifest, number none. Anything can appear like the rainbow. Okay? Thoughts can appear, emotions can appear, anything can appear like the rainbow. Okay? Like the rainbow light or like the white light. White light is pervasive everywhere. That's called the Namparnangze. Nang means appearing. Appearing in the light, appearing in the color, appearing in the form. But they are all made of what? Made of light in dream. Did you know that? All made of light in dream. Number Nangze. So that's the nature of our Buddhahood, our Buddha nature. One of the quality of Buddha nature means anything can manifest. Like a big mirror, anything you can put in front of the mirror, mirror can reflect. Right? Anything. Any colors can reflect directly, any forms. Mirror is not rejecting anything. Mirror is saying, oh, I don't want to reflect this and that. So reflecting power, it's a Buddha nature, and that's like number Nangze. Okay? Anything can reflect, anything can appear in the mind. What you don't have in your mind. What you don't have in your mind. I know what you don't have. Wisdom. Memory. It's a joke. Wisdom and memory, you have it. Also, you don't know how to access it. That's the problem. Okay. So anyway, anything in our mind's potential is we can project anything. We can think anything. We can imagine anything. Okay? So that's why when you meditate, you think sometimes you cannot visualize, you cannot imagine. This is a wrong view. It's not true. We can think anything once we use the potential of our mind. Second one is Buddha Amitabha, infinite light. That we know already. In the Dream Yoga, we had this training. Infinite light. Our self is the infinite light, and all subject is infinite light, and object is infinite light. Once the light unifies into the light, once the light merges into the light, there's no separation, right? That's called the non-dual. Non-separation between subject and object, between ourselves and others, right? So this really makes sense in the dream. You know yourself is made of light. You know everything else from your dream is made of light. And then they are all the same light. One big light is manifesting in different forms, right? So then there is no, separation, including the space, whatever you see in the dream. So non-duality comes from this Amitabha, Buddha Amitabha, infinite light. That's our second Buddha nature, Buddha nature's characteristic. Okay, we can say we have this Buddha nature, Buddhahood, and this Buddhahood has 5 characteristics. First is anything can manifest. Okay, anything can manifest as a rainbow or light. Second one is infinite light, Buddha Amitabha. Third one is akshobhya, the stability, stable. We always think our mind is unstable, our moods are unstable. You know, we are unstable people. It's true we are unstable people. But that's not because of our mind. That's because of our energy. Wind energy, okay? Or prana energy. we have too much wind, and wind makes superficially us unstable, like the ocean. Okay, the deep part of the ocean is always stable; it never changes. But the surface of the ocean can have waves. Okay, even can have tsunamis because of what? Because of wind. Okay, because of the wind. It's exactly the same thing. That's why in Tibetan medicine says we have to calm down our wind. Calm down. Calm down our wind. The best way to calm down your wind is to receive massage. Menla spa massage. That's an external solution. That's an external solution. Massage, oil therapy. Okay, calms down the wind. Once the wind is calmed down, the ocean doesn't create the waves, right? It's same, our mind, our brain has this wave, the wind, life-sustaining wind. It's a very powerful wind. When this wind goes too high, and then you lose your mind control. So many emotions and feelings, and feeling up and down, right? Or the ocean, the wave goes very up and then falls down and makes noises, and then goes up and down. Okay? So it's interesting. According to Buddhist philosophy, in one way, we all are sick. Nobody is healthy until you will wake up from the sickness. Until you will become Buddha, then you will wake up from the sickness, right? Until then we are sick. But on the other hand, our mind never cannot get sick. We call it a mental problem, mind disease, but there's no disease for the mind. Okay? Then what is the disease? What is the problem? The problems are channels and wind energy. So wind energy messed up, and that's reacting as a mental problem. Okay? So this is the reason in Tibetan tradition to do yoga is important, because if you do yoga, you can calm down the wind energy. Once wind energy calms down, then mind is calm. Okay? So that's why this Buddha Akshobhya is the unmovable, unchangeable, unmovable. That's the nature of our Buddhahood. It's unchangeable, unmovable. Okay? We are so stable. The nature of a human mind is so stable. It never changes. But the part we feel, our feelings, emotions, everything changing, is the superficial part because of wind force. Okay? Because of the wind force. So in the heart we have all-pervasive wind. In the head we have life-sustaining wind. In the throat we have ascending wind. In the belly we have metabolic wind or digestive. And the lower part we have descending, excretions. So 5 winds. Life-sustaining wind. And if we know the nature of the wind, if you practice yoga, if you know the nature of the wind, nature of winds are also 5 colors. Okay? 5 lights. This is the reason why we can achieve rainbow body. Wind has again the karmic part and non-karmic part. Okay? So that's the third Buddha, the characteristic of our Buddha nature, the third one. And the fourth one is Ratna Sambhava, means wish fulfilling. Ratna means a jewel. Jewel means everything we can receive from the jewels, right? Like a jewel is like a diamond. If your house is full of diamond, you think you have everything, right? Whatever you want, you can use diamond to get it. So that's why Ratna means jewel on this, wish fulfilling. So again, it's a Buddha nature's quality. If you realize you are Ratna Sambhava, whatever you want in your life, you can achieve. Okay? That's why probably we have everything what we want, right? We have everything. So as I said, the problem is we we misunderstand, or we simply don't know we have it. So that's the Ranna Sambhava. And then the lower one is Buddha Amoga Siddhi. It's called the all accomplished, accomplished all activities. It means we have the potential to do anything. Anything. We can, don't get stressed with work. Work. But maybe you should find the right work for you. This Buddha is interesting. That's the infinite power for working. Activity means work and function. Okay? Our function is like a Buddha nature. It never stops. It never finishes. Okay? So if you use this Buddha Amoga Siddhi's energy, or Amoga Siddhi's power, Chavatrupa means any work, any activities, you can finish it. You can get it done. That's the meaning of that Buddha. So you see the quality of the 5 family of Buddhas, it's quality of ourself. Okay? So that's why you should not doubt in yourself. You never doubt in yourself. Why you doubt in yourself? Because you don't know who you are. Because you don't know what is your true nature. Okay? So I think it's good to know this. That's why in the Yuthok is inner Guru Yoga. The inner Guru Yoga, we do the meditation with 5 family Buddhas. In your 5 chakras, you have 5 syllables. Om, Hum, Cham, Shi. Om, Hum, Cham, Shi. Om, Hum, Cham, Shi. Yesterday in the empowerment, we had Om, Hum, Shi, Shi, right? Double Shi. But in the inner Guru Yoga, Om, Hum, Cham, Shi. But the standardized, the 5 chakra mantras, Om, Hum, Soha or Swaha. Om Ahum Swaha. This is for male Buddhas, and then female Buddhas are Mum Lam Mam Bam Tam. Okay? There are 2 syllables, male Buddha and female Buddha. Or the easy one, you can say Om Ahum Cham Shi. Is it written there? Om Ahum Cham Shi. So the 5 syllables, they can transform into 5 Buddhas. Okay? And then you contemplate on the Buddhas, the nature of Buddhas. And then you can realize your true potential. Or you can experience your 5 wisdoms. Do you understand? So in the dream is the same thing. So everything it goes in real life, in this life, and in the dream. In the dream, we have Buddha Berochana, because anything can manifest in the dream, right? Anything can manifest in the dream. Even you think something is impossible for you, in the dream they can manifest. That's Berochana. And anything you see is made of light. The dream itself is infinite light. That's Buddha Amitabha. Okay. The nature of a dream never changes. Sometimes your dream is a moving tsunami, earthquake, whatever. It sends lots of motions, moving. But the ground of the dream is unmovable, unchangeable. Okay? And then Randa Sambha, whatever you desire, you can get in your dream. What you want to get? What's your wish? You want...
Understanding.
Yeah, understanding you can get in the dream. What else you want?
Clarity.
Clarity you can get in the dream. Good health you can get in the dream. Happiness you can get in the dream. Food you can get in the dream. Money you can get in the dream.
I got a taxi in Delhi in the dream. Come to work. I was calling Uber, it didn't come.
Once you are in Delhi in dream, it's no problem. Because you are the mayor of that city. You can even order a helicopter in Delhi, no problem. Okay, and then, wish fulfilling, anything you can get in the dream, activities, anything you want to realize, your work and this, anything you can get done in the dream. Do you understand? So it's very important. When you meditate in daytime, that part in the Yuthok tradition is called the inner Guru Yoga. Why it's called the inner Guru Yoga? It means your real Guru is inside, not outside. Okay? Outside the Gurus are symbolic Gurus. Symbolic Gurus, they give you a message. They give you a message. They say, oh, hi, there is something inside, go inside to look. That's it, finished. Symbol is finished. Symbolic function is finished. Then you have to go inside. Okay? So it's called the Nangi Lama in Tibetan. Nangi Lama means the Guru who is inside. So you are born with this Guru, you live with this Guru, you will die with this Guru, and even after life in Bardo, this Guru is always with you. Guruji is Guruji, he never let you go. It never let you go. Okay? I like this Yuthok's explanation, the concept of Guru. Normally we stuck the concept of Guru externally. This is my Guru. One Guru, two Guru. Okay, now I change my Guru. Okay, now I do shopping, more Gurus. Guru shopping, Guru changing. Gurus, you can change your Gurus like your shoes, yeah? So maybe the real external Guru should be like your shoes, not like your hat. Because if you have a big hat, it covers you, then you don't see, clearly. Shoes make you service, you receive service, you feel comfortable for walking. And then you make your journey. That's called the real external Guru. It's your shoes, not your hat. Okay, but I think this internal, inner Guru is very important, inner Guru, okay? Yuthok's tradition, there are 4 Guru Yogas, the 4 meditations, every meditation 1 week. First one is called outer Guru Yoga, so you visualize Yuthok. Here we have statue Yuthok here, and then you receive blessing from Yuthok, like you empower yourself, okay? 1 week you empower yourself. So once you empower yourself with Yuthok, second week you can see your inner Gurus. You have 5 inner Gurus, there are 5 Buddhas here. And then you know Guru is inside, not outside. Inner Guru. Okay? Nangi Lama. Nangi Lama, the inner Guru. And maybe in the Western tradition we are saying inner voice, Sometimes an inside inner voice tells you something, inner voice. So that's what we call it, inner Guru. And that's the most important Guru. Okay? Because the nature of this Guru is the 5 Buddhas. 5 Buddhas. That's why it's called the inner Guru. So personally, I like this inner Guru Yoga because it's a really like a very essential, very simple, very direct, and a very essential key point to really understand our own true nature. And once you understand our own true nature, and then we are confident. Okay? Then we see these qualities within ourselves. Once you are confident with yourself, you are stable. Abhyashoka. You are stable, right? You are radiant. Buddha Amitabha. And you can be flexible, you can manifest anywhere, like a Berochana. Okay? You can achieve anything because of Annasambhava. You can do anything because of Mokasiddhi. So what is the problem? No problem in dream. Okay? All right. Now it's you. I finish my speech now.
I enjoy listening to you.
Everything is finished now. I'm empty now.
I think so. Anyway, I like it. What about secret guru?
Secret
Chenagtsang.
Guru Yoga is, so we have the mantras again. Secret Guru Yoga is more really completing the, our both male and female side. Okay? There is a Shiva image. In the Shiva image, half is male, half is female. Okay? So this is our true nature of ourself. Of course, physically we have male and female, different two genders. I heard in America there are many genders.
No.
Okay, so 3 genders. Okay, so this is Shiva's nature is, Shiva's nature says 3 genders. Male and female and then neutral. Manning. And somehow I think the problems, like today I think this problem is very obvious. Maybe in the past time people they didn't understand much. Some people, they are men and they feel they are women, Mm-hmm. Their body is women but they feel they are men, this kind of confusions. In reality, we have both of them. We are 50% is male, 50% is female, okay? That's why I like that Shiva image. And this is the reason we have right side solar energy, left side lunar energy. So solar energy is the female, lunar energy is the male. Okay? They go together like this. Male and female 50-50. But then in the normal way of thinking, I think today's problem is the loneliness. No? So many people, they feel loneliness. They live alone and they feel loneliness. And then because of this loneliness, they are sad and depressed and so many other problems. But Secret Guru Yoga explains this part. So our self can manifest in a Buddha union, in a Hayagriva. It's very similar, this one. Hayagriva, the restful Buddha. Hayagriva and Vajravarahi in union. Okay? Vajravarahi is the female deity, the female Buddha, and Hayagriva is the male Buddha. So then you visualize yourself Hayagriva and your consort is Vajravarahi. Or if you are female, the opposite. Vajravarahi is holding Hayagriva. Mm-hmm. And then when we do the practice, the male part we have Om, Ah, Hum, Soha, 5 syllables, and your consort Mum, Lam, Mam, Pam, Tam. Okay? So then the mantra is Om, Ma, Hum, Soha, Mum, Lam, Mam, Pam, Tam. It's like, this is, if you want to know the Hatha Yoga, Sun, Moon Yoga, right? Hatha Yoga, Sun and the Moon, complete unions. So that's the secret Guru Yoga. And so here you are realizing that you are 5 natures of Buddha, and in the secret Buddha is, I think, maybe one step more deeper, and the perfection of yourself, the self-perfection, both male and female and union. So we have a long mantra with this practice. The short one is very easy. Om Ah Hum Soha Mom Lam Mam Pam Tam. Om Ah Hum Soha Mom Lam Mam Pam Tam. So we should do this mantra with vase breathing. You hold the breath in the belly, in the vase, and then the mantra recites there, and then from there goes in a circle. That's the secret Guru Yoga. And also something interesting. I think secret Guru Yoga, it is a key point for our human psychology because one is, when we say Hayagriva, it's a very wrathful deity, right? Very, very, extremely wrathful deity. So that is expression of our anger, okay? Hayagriva, I told you, Hayagriva is your selfie when you are angry. But when you are really, really angry, the highest level, 100% you are angry. How do you say that? Very angry?
Furious.
Furious.
Rage.
Huh?
Rage. Rage.
Furious.
Furious.
Okay? Then like all your energy, there is a good part of anger. When you are angry, your mind is concentrated. You are not distracted. Some people, they always saying, oh, I have concentration problem. Okay? And then your solution is you should get angry. So when you are angry, your whole concentration is coming together and whole your mind is expressed with anger. Okay? And that's Hayagriva. And if you look, it's called 9 expressions. 9 dancing expressions. The restful deities, okay? Like this Karchinyam Guru, 9 restful expressions. It's like a theater, it's like the show, theater. And the theater or in movie, if you act, you are really angry, you have to put your emotion in your body, right? And the emotion is coming from your voice. And the expression is coming from your eyes, your face, your facial expression, your hand, and trembling, and the flame is coming out, all these things. Okay? So 100% of the anger expression. I agree with. I think anger, anger, it's a big issue for us. Okay? That's why here it's the heart, you see heart chakra. Anger is heart chakra, and it's a very, very deep emotion and very powerful, very strong, and we don't know how to handle it. We have problems, right? And then, of course, some meditation says, oh, anger's antidote is love. And then somebody is very angry, and you tell them, I love you. What happens? They get more angry. The love is not the antidote. Love enhances that anger. So somehow it's like the anger is unstoppable. Okay? That's why it's called the Hayagriva. Towa, Shinta Towa. And that's male anger. Okay? Man's anger is Hayagriva. Women's anger is called the Vajravarahi. It's even more dangerous. I read one Lelong's book. He said there's a male deity. This is because antidote for male. There's a female deity. It's antidote for female. Energetically there is something to do with male and female. So anyway, that's why in this fierceful deity or wrathful deity, you see there's so much anger. So when you put your anger out, that's like most the naked part of ourself is out. Okay, that's why I think it's called the secret Guru Yoga. And then this anger, when Buddha is unioned, Hayagriva is unioned with Vajravarahi, and then that one also expressing the human hidden sexual desire. Okay, Buddha's in a union. So again, as this Lelong, he said, we humans, we have so many desires. Desire for food, desire for clothes, for housing, for nice place, for comfort, this and that. And he says the sexual desire is one of the most powerful desires. So this desire eats other desires. It conquers. Eat them. Conquer them.
Oh, yeah, each other desires.
It consumes other desires, dissolves in these things. So that's why a king can lose the entire kingdom for sexual desire. You know some stories, right? So that's why also this, how do you say, I think in our human nature we have many fantasy about sexuality, wish, dreams, fantasies, and then we don't receive education about this. I think we are kind of very confused, okay? So it's a strange cocktail, sexual desire and anger mixed together. Is it a strange cocktail?
Passion.
Huh?
Creates passion.
And many movies are sex and violence together. Many movies, they do both.
Like which one?
I don't know because I don't see them, but I know of them. I mean,
How about your own movie?
not violence. Not violence.
So that's why, Vajra, Hayagriva and Vajravarahi, they're in union, okay? The expression of anger, the deep anger, like the deep volcano. Volcano is exploding, and the deep desire, the hidden, how do you say, the hidden lingam and yoni. Okay? Hidden lingam and yoni, because in Vajrayana the highest sexual desire is represented by Shivaji. Okay, that's why Shiva's symbol is a lingam. Lingam means penis. You know that, no? This stone is a penis.
Yeah.
And then lingam's partner is yoni, the other one. That's vagina. That's the male and the female organ. Okay, so that, I think this is the reason in Vajrayana the symbol of sexual desire is Shiva. The God is known as the God of desire. God of desire. So somehow our deepest anger is exploding, it's opening, and deepest our desire. And the one who is confused and try to hide and all these things coming out together. And then the energy is balanced. Energy flows with these 10 syllables. Om, Ah, Hum, So, Ha, Mum, Lam, Mam, Pam, Tam. Okay? So then the energy is running like this. Om, Ah, Hum, So, Ha, Mum, Lam, Mam, Pam, Tam. But this ones, if you want to meditate, it's better we do retreat. 1 week retreat, then you understand. Okay? I'm just telling you the meanings, The Yuthok tradition, we have this, we did Guru Yoga, not Guru Yoga, Dream Yoga. We are doing the Dream Yoga, but Dream Yogas are connected with Guru Yogas, and there are 4 Guru Yogas in the Yuthok, okay? Outer one is very simple. You visualize Yuthok above your head, and then you re-empowerment yourself. Do you remember the empowerment from yesterday? So then outer Guru Yoga, as you go to retreat, you do this self-empowerment 7 days. Do you understand? If you liked yesterday's empowerment, that's good. Okay? Maybe this empowerment helps you for a few days, and then in a few days, the energy, blessing, understanding, everything fades away. So how you can make that stable? You should do 7 days of retreat. Self-empowering, and then this understanding of the empowerment becomes stable. Okay? You feel it really stable. So once it is stable, and then the next step is inner Guru Yoga, then that really helps you to discover your inner gurus. Okay? Especially if you are a person, you are confused with practices, or confused with your gurus, your masters, teachers, I suggest you to do this inner Guru Yoga, because at end, even your guru has a problem, maybe it's not the guru's problem, it's your problem. Okay? And you really should discover what is inner guru. That's why Yuthok says, there is an outer guru helps you to discover your inner guru. And inner guru is always there, right? This is the reason Padmasambhava, he said, I'm always sleeping in your heart. if you see me. Okay? We search Brahmasambhava externally. Tepa Chenla Benjong Gonyalios, if you have faith, if you have the true faith, he said, I'm sleeping in your heart. So why are you searching me externally, right?
Yeah.
So that's why that's the really like main message also from Brahmasambhava. The real Brahmasambhava, the real precious Guru is inside, the inner Guru. Okay?
So Guru means some kind of guidance, right? Some kind of teaching. So outer Guru is symbolic. Inner Guru is your own wisdom's awakening.
Yes, yeah.
Then secret Guru, are you saying for
Totality.
the male practitioner is discovering the female side? For the female practitioner discovering the male side to achieve a balance? So what is the guidance, in other words? The secret Guru.
Secret Guru, Yuthok is always here. Yuthok is above Hayagriva.
Yes.
So our energy is connected with Yuthok.
I see.
The light is coming from Yuthok to Hayagriva, then Vajravarahi, and then Yuthok's concert.
But the Yuthok in that case is Mr. and Mrs. Yuthok.
Mr. Mrs. both.
Yeah,
Union.
exactly.
Yes,
Not just male Yuthok,
Yes,
but
yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Yuthok. Right? Because you're saying that the balance is the secret word.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just asking that.
Yeah.
So bliss and void. So and the Guru is pointing out the
Then
presence of nirvana, of enlightenment, of freedom.
And then in secret Guru Yoga, the Ras for deity, the union of bliss and clarity. To understanding the clarity and the bliss. Because the interesting thing is anger, the good part of anger. Anger makes your mind clear too, right? When you're really angry, strongly angry, you are not confused. You are angry, very sharp anger, like German anger. It's a very clear and very sharp anger. Italian anger is a little bit confused. French anger is maybe Hayagriva, mixed with passion and anger. Hayagriva and Vajravarahi. Okay, anyway.
So I was thinking, if I can...
So I think the secret to Guru Yoga is really to understand the Desal Tsongju, Deva Tan Salwa. The union of clarity and bliss.
Bliss, clear light.
Yeah.
Bliss, clarity, indivisible.
Yes, please.
Well, I was thinking something earlier on. Well, just thank you so much for that wonderful explanation. And I was thinking early on about an incident that happened to me in Bellevue. There's a hospital in New York where crazy people go, and other kinds of people also. And I was discussing with a neuroscientist, and he wanted to get the Dalai Lama to come and be in his fMRI, magnetic resonance, what is it? Magnetic resonance
imaging
machine, to see what happened to his brain, the Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama refused to go. So I suggested to this man that he should find some yogis, and there are some that we can find who really have done outer body, sort of bardo type of experience, And I said, it's sort of similar to the death, where mind is out of brain, See what the brain looks like at that time. Then he got so angry. And he was so mad, and he said, we were in the hospital, in a conference room, and he was looking around like there was somebody recording. And he said, never say that. Mind is never outside the brain.
Oh, God.
It's not possible. And he said, I put dead body in fMRI, and there's no activity in the brain. There's no mind in there. So mind is always in the brain. And so never say that again. He said, he gave me like order. So, okay, I'll never say. It's like this. And what I was thinking was, about the dream. One of his reasonings also, both he had studied dead body, and there's nothing in the brain. So in a way, that's a proof. Mine left. Anyway, he was convinced that proved that the mind, there is no mind, it's just the brain, you see. And then, second thing he was convinced, he had fMRI on a dreamer, this person sleeping in an REM sleep, having a dream. And he said the brain in a dream thinks that it's operating the body. In other words, when in a dream you move your limbs or something, and then the brain thinks your actual limb is moving. He claimed, although I'm not sure he really, but parts of the brain that light up, when you move your arm, were happening in the dream, according to his machine, right? So he was really excited about it. About 2 days later, I was in a cab with a Pakistani cab driver, and I started laughing like a maniac. And it was like an epiphany, it was like an insight, like meditation, satori. Which the reason I was laughing was I realized the guy was completely nuts. And he thought he had discovered nothing in the brain, and that he was going to get a Nobel Prize or something. I mean, I can't explain. But my point is this, is that, what we were saying is so great about, you can do anything in a dream, right? So what that means is that when you know that you are, that you're in a dream all the time, when you think you're awake, you're also in a dream. Mm-hmm. So that means that, the reason people, A, don't know they're in a dream when they're in a dream, and B, in a way, we don't know that we're awake when we're awake. Yeah. It's because we think that all the things around us are out there, and that we're just kind of noticing them. But actually our brain is creating the whole picture of everything around us all the time, even when we're awake. So the mind is still structuring everything. So the fact that the brain is the same, seems to be the same when in a dream as when you're awake, proves that when you're awake, you're constructing the world around you, and you're creating the environment around you just like you are in the dream. Do you follow me?
Yes, yes.
Rather than the other way around. He thinks it proves that there is nothing, it's just the brain is doing something. But actually what it's actually proving is that, and therefore people who can't visualize, who think that I can't visualize, I can't do that, they say, is because they are visualizing so strongly all the walls and the building and the whole thing. The ordinary reality, there's so much confidence in their misknowing of ordinary reality, thinking that everything else is outside there, and that we're just like this, and that's all really real. Like Geshe-Wanga, my original teacher, Geshe-Wanga, he used to say, people think they're real, and that's okay, and that's true, but the problem is they all think they're really real. That's the problem. So we are imagining, like I'm imagining you, and you're imagining me, I'm imagining the table, but the imagination is so routine and it's so pre-programmed that I think I'm not imagining, I think it's like over here, So that's why this visualization won't work until one has begun to realize the emptiness of it all, that we're manufacturing it actually all the time. So the dream yoga is totally great the way you explain it, because you then bring that awareness into this, and you begin to relativize your external experience, the way that by being more attentive to the way it seems just as real to you, you think you're really real in the dream when you're in the dream. So then the really real is diminished to just being relatively real, and then able to be Ratnasambhava and do what you want and control what you want and all the things you're saying there, like in the dream, And that's what Buddha does, right? Mm-hmm. So it's so interesting that the people, the scientists like that, has a complete opposite interpretation of the evidence. The evidence that the brain functions same in the dream it's actually a proof that being awake is a kind of dream, rather than proving that the dream is somehow trying to reproduce a reality of being awake, if you follow me. So it's taking the opposite conclusion, of what is more sensible. And the other thing, in the Dalai Lama's discussion with the scientists, he never tells them that at the super subtle level, where Yuthok is in the heart, at the clear light level, that energy and the mind are one thing. And he won't say that, because then they're going to think that means their materialism is correct. Mind is just can be reduced to matter. And of course, Buddhist science doesn't mind reducing to matter, And I remember, calming down the energies, the loom, the wind. I remember that some person would come who was doing Zen, and they were also doing macrobiotic, and they were so nervous, and they had terrible pains in their back and legs, and they were like trying to be enlightened. They were complete agony, And he would say, like, well, I want the Tibetan special thing, And he would say, go eat some hamburgers. Get out of here, your wind is just crazy, but you didn't eat anything, and you're like putting all this tension in your body, and you're like breaking your back by holding a position, and your bones can't take it. And they would be so shocked. They would really be shocked. They would get to know this is sacrilege. He's Tibetan. He should be telling me something better. That's a great one. I also had one guy. I brought some French hippie in Mysore. I picked him up. I was driving. I had a van, and he had his leg was practically gangrene. It was so bad, it infected. It burned his leg. And he told a story about how he was walking on fire with some sadhus, and then he had a moment of doubt, so then it burnt. Otherwise, he was fine. And then he wanted some Tibetan. He wouldn't go to a hospital. I wanted to drop him at a hospital because he was so filthy, but he wouldn't go. And so he wanted me to take him to the doctor, to Ishida. So I took him to the doctor, and then he says to the doctor. The doctor looked at him 1 minute and said, go to the hospital. And then he said, no, I want Tibetan medicine. So then he goes to the so then he said, what did he say? In Tibetan, I said, he said, bring me the saw. And then he said, what's he going to do with saw? I said, well, he's going to cut the leg off. And then I said, why is he going to do that? I said, well, you said you wanted Tibetan medicine. That guy got up. He was down in Mysore like he suddenly was running like a lumumba. He was running like a man. It's brilliant healing strategy. My point is that so Buddhist science likes materialistic reductionism in a certain context, but also in the practice context, you do mentalistic reduction. If mind and matter are the same, then you can use matter like it's mind. Like you said in the dream where you're going to eat the plate, the delicious plate, And that's so good because it shows that Buddhist science is truly scientific. There's no dogma. Sometimes it's useful to think it's all mind, sometimes it's useful to think it's all matter, and actually it's beyond the duality of mind and matter, the whole thing. It's a great part. It's bliss, actually. Bliss and clarity. So anyway, I'm sorry, I don't have anything to say, really. I'm just enjoying what you were saying. It made me think of that crazy guy. He's a white coat, he had a white coat, He was like a real scientist, Tremendous salary, big equipment and all that. And he was so frightened. I think he thought if anybody recording in the thing that he was talking to somebody who was talking about the mind leaving the body, like magic body type of thing, yoga, that, he wouldn't get his Nobel Prize. They'd turn him in. He was like talking to heretics, to like crazy people who think mind is something, Really. And we're all like that, another thing, when I was a monk, I'd been studying for about 3 years, I was very much into meditating. I was a monk. I had been learning some Tibetan medicine, and I was meditating 3 in the morning in Temple in New Jersey. And he comes in, turns on the light. What are you doing? What am I doing? I'm meditating. He says, why are you meditating? I said, well, I'm a Buddhist monk. I want to get enlightened. He says, oh, you can't get enlightened. You're an American. I said, what? And I knew what he kind of meant, and I was saying, no, I believe in future life. I know that mind exists. You know what? No. He said, you're an American. He says, American, when you to get enlightened, you have to have a mind. It's the mind that gets enlightened. He said, and you Americans, you think you don't have a mind. That's what you think. So any sitting there you're doing is useless. Come have some yoga. It's short. Let's go to the kitchen. You're just getting your winds are getting agitated. And then I argued very bitterly, like, how can you say that? No, not. But he's absolutely right. Unconsciously, we don't believe in mind over matter. We don't think we can accomplish these things. We really don't. And that's why then too much depend on outer guru, too much depend on this and that, because we think we have no mind. We're brought up, we don't learn that in religion, we learn that in science class. We think they're the high priests and they know, they found out there's no mind, they discovered that, there's no soul, there's no future life. They even think Buddha said there's no soul, because he said anatma, dogmepa. He meant there's no fixed, Ranshinji, Tibet, that. He didn't mean there's no self. He said, don't be selfish. Of course you have a self, but you don't have a fixed one. It's what selflessness means. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to talk. I just was happy listening to you. But the female, the 5, what is the 5? Lam, mam, tam. Lam is Lojana. Mam is Mamaki. Pam is Pandara. Pam is Pandaravasini. And then Tara. Pam. That's 4. But what's the other one? Oh, Vam?
Mum, lam, mam, bam, tam.
Boom.
Mum. Mashan, mum,
Boom. So who is she? That because, like in Great Samaja, there's Sparsha Vajra,
Java Rigna, Jalyum Rigna.
Pekvidojima. No.
Jalva Rigna, Jalyum Rigna.
Jalyum Rigna. I know. You're trying to who's the 5th one?
Yum Rigna.
Yum Navate. Pajadatishwari. Doji Yingchum. Doji Yingchum. So Vam, that's Vam. I'm sorry. Yeah. So those 5 balance with the Oma Hum Swaha, and then Vam, Lam, Mam, Tam, Vam, or Vam, Tam.
Om Mam Soha, Mum Lam Mam Bam Tam. Om Mam Soha, Mum Lam Mam Bam Tam.
Actually, in Buddha Samaja, there are some verses where they say there were Chandrakirti makes commentary on the Vajra Dojit Singh, the Vajrapada, the words of the Great Samaja itself. And in there's a thing like Vairochana Vidya, the knowledge of Vairochana. But then they say, then the commentary says, what is the Vairochana Vidya? The science or knowledge of Vairochana. And then they say, oh, that's Lochana. So the knowledge of the male Buddha is the female. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. So male is really angry, really focused, but maybe really stupid. And then the knowledge is the female. Something like that. Balance of the energy and the knowledge. Can that be possible? They have such a statement like that. So what is the actual knowledge of Vairochana, they say? The Vidya, the awareness, the science awareness, the Rigpa of him. It's the Rigpa is the Rigma, is the female. So female is knowledge.
Yeah,
is that possible? Are we stupid?
In Amdo we say Rigma.
Rigma, yes. Yeah.
So your partner you call Rigma.
Yeah, so the
Menla is your Rigma.
So Nida is the knowledge, and I can be...
You are the method.
Concentrated on the stupid. But I'm a method, but I'm a stupid.
But she can ask you what you should do. She can order.
Yeah, exactly. So the inner guru might be the female element for the male person.
Yeah.
But then for the female practitioner, then the male, how can the male be Rigma? I think male just stays angry. I'm just kidding. I don't. Of course, I don't.
So in
understand.
the secret Guru Yoga, yeah, we both have Rigpa Rigma together.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
We have to
yeah.
find that element in ourselves.
Yeah. In ourselves we have both, yeah. We have both wisdom and method.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing in Tantra. I like to say, if you practice Vajra Yogini or Vajra Varahi practice, then the male practitioner has to visualize themselves as female body. So that's much cheaper than doing trans operation, if they really do it. Right?
Yes.
Is that possible? But then when female practices, like with Samaja or Chakra do they imagine themselves as a male body?
In the Yuthok tradition, you can choose
I know.
which one you
Yeah,
feel.
same.
Yes.
Oh, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's very quite amazing. In
Yeah.
dream you can be of either gender.
Yes.
So if you practice dream yoga, you don't have to have expensive operation in hospital. Trans operation. Actually, but this is another question, Yama. Seriously, think about this. In the bhikshu vow, Ilong vow,
Uh-huh.
did you know there's this question? I actually I'm an ex-monk, right? So I had took that thing, so I read it. It actually asks you ahead of time. They ask you, "Are you a naga?" And you have to say no. So you're not a serpent being, like a dragon or something. But the other thing they ask you, they say, "Have you had a sex change operation for the third time?" Seriously. They ask you that, to be bhikshu. I don't actually know the bhikshuni, but they ask her. But for bhikshu, they say, "Have you had a sex change for the third time?" So apparently once is okay, twice is okay, but 3 times you're disqualified. What does that mean? That means that I try to think it's a very chauvinist. Maybe you were originally female, then you did a male trans operation. In ancient times, they must have had operation. Then you went back to female, then you came back to male. So it's 3 times, then you can't be monk because you can't make up your mind. Can you explain that?
I think in ancient times they had this kind of operation.
Yeah, they did. Obviously, they had to. If they're asking that question, because that's an ancient question from Buddha's time, practically. Have you had a sex change operation for the 3rd time? If so, take a hike. No picture. Back to lay.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be about indecision?
What?
Wouldn't it be about indecision as opposed to gender? That you keep on going back and back?
I don't know. I was just asking them. It's something that's been on my mind for 40 years. It's such a strange question. But it must be. It would be very interesting, don't you think? Modern Buddhism. People are into modern Buddhism, so they would have that question, and then they become a monk. Like, what was that? I really like it though. I'm sorry, I apologize. It's just that I have nothing to say again. I'm so satisfied by what you're saying. I do like it. I still don't understand the secret guru that well. But I have to work on that.
Secret Guru Yoga.
But why do we have to have secret? Chidam is okay, outer and inner.
Lejala Joy, you said it. Karma Mudra. Connected with Karma Mudra too.
Lotus. Or Jnana Mudra, no?
Karma Mudra, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Jnana Mudra, yes.
It could be Jnana or Karma.
But when the meditation itself is Jnana Mudra.
Lotus.
The Wang Nana, Samvaya Wang, right? Empowerment is secret empowerment.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's connected with Karma Mudra.
Lotus.
Or Jnana
Yes, of
Mudra.
course.
So this, because of union, also connected with Jnana Mudra, yeah.
Lotus. Yes, I did give a talk in Norway recently at a conference on Tantra, because the scholars who study Tantra, and because also we've had very terrible scandals, like Ritva now, these places, and then that's one thing. But then in the books also they read about sexual yoga, male female yoga in the tantras, and it's spoken of in the different tantras, and then they think the general scholarly thing amongst people who study those things, who are not really practitioners, they use it as a way of saying Buddhism and Hinduism, which particularly have this, both of them are bad, and the males are male chauvinists, they're patriarchal, and they're going out and grabbing girls and doing stuff with them, and it's an excuse for that they have this argument, right? So I gave this talk to them, in which I read in the Guya Samaja commentary the instructions about when they do karma mudra like this, male-female sort of thing, in the high levels of perfection stage, right? Dognim. And the instructions are that the female, if the male is considered to be the main practitioner, it doesn't work. The female has to be equal practitioner to the male, or vice versa. If a female is a yoga practitioner, which they don't so much know because it is more male chauvinist, the cultures, then the male partner cannot just be an ordinary person. It has to be a similar yogi. So that means they have to already have done ninefold breathing. They already have done opening the inner chakras. They have to be yogis, and they don't do normal huffing and puffing type of thing. No ejaculations. Orgasm is inside in the nervous system. I read all these instructions to them, and they were kind of shocked. So I said, this proves that you can't just go grab somebody on the street and say, and drag them into your lair, your monk's cave, your ex-monk's cave, horny ex-monk, and do some things to them. You can't do that. They have to be trained yogis and yoginis, both sides, complete athletic. It's like athletes, right? Trained astronauts. I proved that to them. And then I said, and then you have a culture where you have these horrible, brothels, and people sell their daughters when they're impoverished, or somebody kidnaps them, and takes them and throws them in these horrible places, in ancient time as well, but especially lower caste people, right, in India. So if someone like that meets a bunch of yogis in a tantric community, and then they become like kumaris, like they still have in Nepal, youthful maidens. And then they're trained in every kind of yoga. And then if they do reach the stage of where they need to do this perfection stage, and they're not just visualizing, then they're like highly qualified, great, gurus and yogis themselves. Wow. So I said, in that kind of social situation, that's a career path. Mm-hmm. The yoga teacher, right? Like all those siddhas had these women yoga teachers, Saraha, the one who made the arrows and this and that. So then they all shut up. All those Norwegian scholars and Germans. So they didn't argue with me. But you see these terrible films about current sex trafficking in the world, you realize, it's a hard argument. So therefore, that's why it was all secret in ancient times. It is a difficult argument to make. But the scholars stopped saying, since then I haven't had anybody arguing with me saying, you're just making an excuse for a bunch of weird, look at Sogyal and Bajay, look at whoever that guy is, whatever his name is, who just got kicked out of the Shambhala. So it's, since His Holiness wants people to know what Tantra is, that's why His Holiness, when I was young and translating Rinpoche's Dogrim commentary, Shinto Sawe, what they call Shinto Sawe Drame, that book. It's Linga Rinpoche, or even Narim Chomo. His Holiness asked me to translate Narim Chomo. And the Linga Rinpoche, the old Khyabja Linga Rinpoche, he says, that's terrible, you can't translate that. No, never translate that. Just do it in Tibetan, learn it yourself, don't translate that. That's secret. He was really upset. Then I said, well, His Holiness said, and he goes, well, okay, if he says, you don't have to go to hell or something. Oh, really? And then he said, the Lunda Pandita, do you know about Lunda Pandita? Mm-hmm. Lunda Pandita wrote the best commentary on the Jigje. He made with Mongolian, really amazing commentary, very detailed, And he insisted that he was reborn as a wolf. running around in Mongolia ever since. It's like 200 years he's been a wolf up there, that boy. Then later he's dead. I was arguing, please don't say that. He's not. How could he be a wolf? He knows the amazing things he wrote, It's an amazing yoga instruction, etc. Really complicated thinking. And Yidam Chas. Yidam Chas. The Yidam got mad. So he wouldn't give up. But the young new reincarnation he's cool about. He laughs. He doesn't disagree with his former life, but he doesn't pursue it. I'm sorry, I know you're all shocked. But it's important to be aware of it. If His Holiness, why he asked us to translate these type of things and publish them.
So did you translate the Ngavram? Did you translate the Ngavram?
Part of it, yeah, part of it. Well, Hopkins translated. Hopkins stole the project from me, of course, typical, the way translators do. And but he only did. He didn't do Lamiju. And at the time, again, he was like a prophet almost, I was upset when he stole it from me. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh, don't worry. He'll never do Lamiju." He said that. I mean, he was just starting doing the beginning part. And I said, "What do you mean he'll never do that? It's in his book, I said, No, he'll never do that." And he did it. So we're doing that now, yeah. So we've done a few chapters of Dogram and Kedim. But the difficult ones in the Lamiju is all of the Dagon, the Choka, all of these weird ritual business about making the mandala. There's so many strange things that is very hard. You have to have an oral tradition. You have to have a lama help you who knows how to do all those things. You can't just do it from text. That part. The Dogram Kedim you can do. Mm-hmm. But Dagon is really, there's a big bunch of things about that you can't so easily do. But anyway, we have to openly discuss and learn these things. That's why I love your book on bliss. You have lots of copies here. Have people got that book? That's such a good book. I really like it. I was so scared at first. And then it was really great. I think it's neat. And, I have one other thing. Can I say one more thing? Are we finished?
No, we have about an hour.
Oh, okay. I want to say one other thing. People should ask questions to Gemma too, but I just want to say one thing. In case you have an experience of emptiness, any of you, since you're all yogis and yoginis, if you ever have an experience which is called space-like equipoid samadhi, nyamshak, like a space-like equipoid samadhi. In other words, when you look for the self, or when you reflect on the fact that anything you investigate has no core reality, it's like an onion, like onion peeling. The thing about peeling onion is there's no core in onion. There's no hard thing in the center of it. You keep peeling and then there's nothing there. And anything you put your attention to in meditation, if you develop stability of your lungs, your winds, your energies, that thing will disappear under your analysis. That was Buddha's discovery. Actually, in Buddha's case, even an atom, even what the local Indian people thought was an atom, indivisible particle, it disappears under analysis, which the quantum people have finally discovered in the West. But Buddha discovered that originally. But his mind, and with his concentrated, angry mind, so penetrating and so forceful and so concentrated, and the intelligence mind. And so if you have that experience where everything seems to disappear and you seem to disappear, and you're frightened at first, and you think you're going to maybe be nothing, or you're going to go crazy, or you'll never come back, but then actually everything just becomes like vast space. If you have that experience, then eventually, since there is no such thing as being nothing, and there is no nothing, you will return from that experience, and you will have what is called a dreamlike aftermath samadhi. The samadhi that is after having a space-like one, you have a dream-like one, or sometimes they say illusion-like one, or magical-like one, and that's called jetop, which means aftermath, after attaining. samadhi, and they call that a samadhi too. They can, or thing it's in. So that will happen, you know. But then what a lot of people do, what happens to some people, because you have quite a feeling of release when everything seems to disappear, and you feel like whatever your mental picture was of emptiness, you feel like this is emptiness. This is ultimate reality. And that's the only thing I wanted to say about that, which I'm saying respectfully to you yogis and yoginis, is that that is not emptiness. But please don't make that mistake. Remember, matter is emptiness, and they say form, and then people are confused because they don't know what form means. But the real word for rupa there, sukh, there means matter, like this tabletop. So that hard tabletop is emptiness too. Emptiness is this tabletop, the tabletop is emptiness. Emptiness is not a space inside the tabletop, beyond the tabletop, inside the atoms of the tabletop. The tabletop itself is emptiness. So, because emptiness is empty also. Emptiness is not a place. It's the relative nature of everything. Nothing has anything in it that is a non-relative intrinsic reality or identity or objectivity or substantiality. Everything is totally interrelated, which is why you can, Ratnasambhava, you can manifest anything out of anything, if you know that, really fully know that. So some people make the mistake and they think, oh, I disappeared, and everything disappeared, and that's the real reality of everything, is that it's all not there. So now, then when things come back in a dreamlike thing, they unfortunately think that they kind of have a hold of the real reality of it all, which is emptiness, and so therefore they're more enlightened than other people, and they're superior to other people, and they're just hanging around in the world and bumping into things like everybody else, just to be nice or something. And then people should do what they want them to do. And they become really maniacs, actually. They become crazy because they think they're enlightened. And the Zen people have a very good expression for it. They become stuck in the demon ghost cave, which is emptiness that they think they own now because they had an experience of disappearing. And I'm sorry, but I'm very concerned about that, because I've had a couple of friends who had that experience and then went around being gurus and behaved badly and got into trouble, So in case you have that, just remember, it's a really important experience, but it's not the ultimate. And actually I have a couple of things I jokingly then say. I say, if disappearing is the ultimate, then you're all Buddhas because you all fell asleep at least once in your life. And when you fall asleep, you disappear. You become unconscious. Then you're gone. Then you're all Buddhas because you sleep. But anybody who ever slept is a Buddha. So that's obviously ridiculous. And that's false. And then the other one, I'd say, when people come back from that, they tend to say, it was all one. The whole universe was just one. It was so great. Oneness. And, well, I wasn't selfishly being there holding it all up myself, because I wasn't there either. No one was there. So I call that the cheap oneness now. That's the cheap one. It's all one, and there's no problems because nobody's there. Buddha's oneness is expensive because the dream-like aftermath samadhi and the space-like equipoise samadhi are really ultimately the same thing. So what a Buddha is someone who's simultaneously in both places at once, right? And we can express it by saying, it's inexpressible, such a thing. It's a cognitive dissonance that we cannot even imagine. It's like being awake and asleep at the same time, being dead and alive at the same time. We can't imagine it, but we can say the wisdom is forever in the space-like freedom, voidness, bliss. And the compassion is the bliss that is fully aware of everyone else. It's the ultimate and everyone's still there. And they're looking all worried and nervous and anxious, and their winds are out of balance, and therefore you have to become a doctor. Your compassion makes you want to be, you're a space doc, no problem, but your compassion makes you want to be a doctor. Because your compassion is bliss, and what bliss does is it bumps into misery based on people's misknowing, and then it wants to enfold them in the bliss, which is sees their deeper nature of bliss and wants them to have that bliss, and then, but can't bomb them into bliss. Buddha is not a bliss bomb. Or he could be, but a bliss bomb would be bad, because then the paranoiacs would be more rigidly boundaried, You go up and try to go find a paranoiac and rush up and give him a big smooch or a hug or a massage. And what do you think that paranoiac is going to do? It's going to think you're trying to kill him. It's going to completely freak out. So people can only open to the flow, so to speak, from within themselves. Is that cool,
Very cool.
Okay. So because he's a doctor, that's the good part. Man is a doctor, and I'm sick, I'm so sick. I need help. I have a sinus problem. Christiana is smiling.
Like what Professor said now, there's a very good expression. It says, when you are meditating, samadhi, okay, let's put in a simple way, meditating. When you are meditating, you feel that everything is empty or everything is kind of illusion in samadhi. When you meditate, you know everything is emptiness.
Yeah.
Something like that. That jetop kaus milam taurton. Once you finish your meditation, you come back in the normal life, you see everything as a dream.
Yeah.
So this state, one day we will reach this state. Once we reach that state, then it's called the gommel. There is no meditation. Because then we are 24 hours mindful, So you are meditating, you are mindful. After meditation, also you are mindful. I think that's a very, high level of meditation experiences. So that's why all these great meditators, when they really reach the highest level, when meditating, they experiencing this emptiness and all these things, they are inner, experiences. But once meditation is finished, they come back, they function normal way, right? They talk to us, giving teachings and activities, but they are seeing everything just as a dream. So it means the meditation is uninterrupted. The meditation is coming in real action, like in the dream, helping like dream-like sentient beings and so on. Is that from Tsongkhapa or J. Kalden?
Well, no, just generally. Well, I think personally that's why some people didn't like Tsongkhapa, after Tsongkhapa. Most people did. It was everyone liked, what was his name? The great Nyingma yogi who was on Kokonor, Tsongma Shabkar, yeah. He said that the Guru Rinpoche said he was Tsongkhapa. He was famous from the Tsongkhapa. And but there were certain scholars who didn't like, certain lamas who were annoyed with Tsongkhapa. But I think the reason they were annoyed, personally, the real deepest reason was they were high lamas, and they were used to being like the lamas were almost the boss. They were like the sheriff, the governor, they were like the political ruler almost in many parts of Tibet. And they didn't like the idea that if they were really enlightened, they were equal to all their subjects. They didn't really like that. And Tsongkhapa, they wanted to have a special place. They wanted to own emptiness. They wanted to own the sky, and then be higher than their disciples. But Tibetans are very... I love, the Tibetan guy who brought the butter to the Lama. You know that story? Tibetans have such a great sense of humor, but Americans don't know about that. There was one nomad, he came and he was going to see a famous Lama. He had an intestine, because that's their plastic bag, which is more biodegradable than plastic. He had an intestine, sheep's intestine, something filled with the best butter, ghee butter he was going to give to the Lama. And then the Lama gave Ron Chi Chi. He inner guru like this, like, and you have this Buddha over here, and then you visualize that, and then the mandal palace around you, and then, etc. He was doing all this complicated thing, and the nomad was getting all confused and irritated. Really, but he was still very respectful. Then they have a line where they go greet the Lama, they get a blessing. The Lama has a peacock feather. He doesn't touch all of them. He touched them with a peacock feather. Blesses them. So he comes up and he says, "Oh, Lamaji, thank you so much. That was such a great teaching. All this visualizing, I really had a little difficulty about it. But, it was really great, And then, I brought this butter, but I realized from your teaching that, it's just as good. You can visualize it. I'm giving you this butter, and you're tasting it and putting it in your tea, and I can keep the butter." Yeah, that's the greatest thing to do. That is so cool. I think Americans don't do that, If they had done that, then that poor Soviet Rinpoche could never have gotten so fat that he couldn't. In Denmark one time when he really reached the thing, he was giving a lecture, and Soviet Rinpoche was in the seat, the auditorium, with a movie theater with regular seats, and he squeezed into that seat. He was so fat. So then Dalai Lama was talking, but then he somehow, in the question and answer, Dalai Lama said, "Well, once I had a big Geisala who visited me who was really very fat, and then we had a chat, and he sat down in the chair, and then when he got up, the chair got up with him. And he couldn't get out of the chair. We had to break the chair. I had to call in people, had to break the chair off him so he could stand up straight and walk away." And then everybody in the whole thing was laughing. All these Danish people really were laughing. And then there was one person who was like bright red, which was so... It was like completely squishy. But luckily, I think it didn't come up with everything. The theater was connected to a whole row of seats, so he was able to get out. But the students, they're to blame, really, of stuffing him too much food. If they'd known like a Tibetan to run away with the butter, visualize it in the chair. I'm sorry, you don't need extra, like 20 more. Visualize. Really funny, I think. That's so great. I apologize. Any questions?
You are dreaming.
I'd love to talk about.
You have a question?
Let's wait for a microphone.
Okay.
We're not waiting for Mike, we're waiting for Justin.
I think maybe now it's good if everyone asks a question or just say your experience about Dream Yoga, each of you. We have about 1 hour, I think it's good.
Okay.
I think it's good that you talk. Each of you talk.
Well, this is.
If you have question, you just ask one question. Okay? I think it's good to respect each other. One person, one question.
Okay, yeah.
And then if you don't have question, if you can express how you felt or what did you learn from Dream Yoga.
Yeah, make a comment if you have.
Yeah, comment, yeah. Okay.
Everybody's turn.
Oh dear,
Okay.
that puts me in like a much different situation, but I feel passionate about.
You are in dream, don't worry.
Okay,
You are
I
in dream.
feel very
You're
passionate
dreaming.
about these questions, this place, and that I'm in. When you, Robert, mentioned this movie that you saw in trafficking, and you were talking about the secret practices.
Yes.
And I'm very ignorant about all of this, I really am. But it brought me to a thought that maybe and because I feel very close to women in the Me Too movement right now,
Sure, right.
that the secret practices would be such a beautiful thing for men, I mean obviously for women too, to have. Because if it is balancing the male and female in every person, and it's humbly addressing the loneliness and rage and all the other.
So what's the question?
Well, I guess that's just, I don't know enough about the secret practices.
So you read my book, Bliss book?
No.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay.
Did you read that?
No, I don't know.
But can I say something to address your feeling?
Yeah.
Which is that the reason, in Sweden, they started to arrest the clients, the men, in these kind of illegal prostitution places. And they found that was the first thing that actually began to diminish the business. But on the other hand, it's not a complete solution, because then you get a black market and you get some more weird things, so because it's a legal thing. So what I'm saying is, it's such a horrendous thing, this film, called Love, Sonia, in case you get a chance to see it, it's premiered. It's such a horrendous thing. What occurs to you really is the market. What's wrong with the men who do that? Although there is a 5% male boys who are trafficked also, but it's a small percent. So the solution to it is actually the secret practices could be the kind of solution, and that is to say, if anyone, male or female, ever had true internal brain orgasm, let's say, they actually would have no need of this weird, truly unsatisfying, manipulative, and sadistic and destructive behavior. It has to do, and Wilhelm Reich is the thing to read. If you go back to Wilhelm Reich, and you read how fascism and militarism depends on people living in a state of total frustration and total neuromuscular constriction, where they have no inner feeling themselves. And that's why they go for this crazy stuff. So in a way, Kama Sutra in India, for example, people wrongly think it was Playboy, but it isn't. The Kama Sutra literature, it's a big literature, sexology literature in India, and it was like how to throw a party, how to cook dinner for somebody, like what to do, don't do this to someone like that, don't do that. In other words, it's dealing openly with trying to get people to have some sort of inner pleasure of their own, and therefore not manipulate other people.
Education.
But it feels like
What's that?
Kama Sutra is education.
Yeah, it's education. It was.
Yeah.
And in the West, why are we so sick that we had Masters and Johnson in the 20th century, and still even people think that's weird? And women couldn't, in the Victorian era, they couldn't tell their husband they were lousy fucks.
But what I'm addressing specifically about the secret yoga, and again, I'm sorry, but I don't know. I'm just learning. I'm learning so much, but that it really has nothing to do with sexuality. It has to do with the gender, but the gender is not necessarily about the sexuality. That if you're channeling these practices,
It has nothing to do with gender.
but
It does
being
not have
male
to do
and
with
being
gender.
female is not necessarily about sexuality identification.
Well, whatever you want to call it. What is your problem?
That's my question then to you then.
That's
What's
the
that?
question
That's my
of.
question to you
That's
then.
the question of totality.
Okay.
You feel yourself not lonely. You are perfect.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Totality.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't run away. There's some other people have questions.
He's
Oh.
ready.
Okay. Next. But thank you for the passionate concern of myself. If you see that movie, and the Apne Up and Ruchira, the name of the lady who runs it, she needs a lot of help.
Okay. Thank you.
And we need to give her a lot of help in trying to save some of these people. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for this week. I have leaving with concentration on what I am empowering in my life. This is what I take from here. But I also, in my dream, I see you returning to teach a retreat on sexuality. Please.
I didn't understand in my dream.
I am imagining you returning to teach
to teach.
I
I need the permission from Professor.
No, Gana, I hope with this book you will come back in the spring.
Yes.
And actually, since I read that the Lelo Rinpoche, the current Lelo Rinpoche, I want to invite him at that same time, and we'll have a little longer session, and we'll discuss this kind of things very detailed.
Discussing on this
if
topic.
you would consider that.
Yeah.
You know, if I can arrange that here at Menla next spring, I think it would be a great thing. I think really great. And you know, maybe I can find a Reichian theorist or therapist or something to join us all too, right? Because Reich is so critical in the social situation we're in now. I mean, we're all to all this.
Who is?
Wilhelm Reich. He was a student of Freud. He was the one whose book in 1920s was The Function of the Orgasm. And it was a completely tantric, but he didn't know anything about this, you know. So he was obviously reincarnation, you know, somebody. Because he came to it just from nature rather than from some, you know, some religious thing or some spiritual thing. And it's amazing, he's amazing. You know? And he deals with it as it connects to society and the mistreatment of women and fascism. You know, he's German. And he's in the middle in between this Russian Revolution and the World War I and II and the Weimar Republic and the destruction of that. You know. And this Ruchida, this lady who made that movie and who has that Up organization, she's studying him. And, you know, did you know, I didn't realize this because I never read Mein Kampf or any of that weird thing. But actually one of his immigrants, anti-immigrant was one of his big things, Hitler, and anti-women. Totally against women, just like these Republicans are doing now. That Kavanaugh and Trump, you know, like that was full of his approach to the German people was like smash down the women. What's wrong with the Weimar Republic is women are too free and people are having too much pleasure, you know, and too much fun, and they should all be like squashed. You know. It's really she's therefore she's going back to restudying him. She knew about him. I was so amazed. And had that same view I did. The market is what causes it. It's like the drug problem. The market then makes it so profitable for the people who might do something else in Mexico or Colombia to do these things, you know, because of the market. And then you go and try and catch the criminals. They're stupid. They have prohibition. It never works. You have to, in fact, change the market.
When the society suppresses
the
feminine, it will come out in these other ways. That's what's happening.
Okay.
So I just want to say,
ask for everybody to say one question.
Beyond the discussion of sexuality, it would be wonderful to have a retreat where we could practice the things that we've been learning about. So a retreat on sexuality is my request.
I'm at the age of retreating from sexuality.
Yeah.
As you know, there was a famous James Bond, Sean Connery. Uma tells a joke about James Bond that I probably shouldn't. I don't know. Couldn't have it. But apparently, he came out of his trailer on the set of the Avengers, and he had his fly was unzipped, and they said, "Mr. Connery, you know, zip up." You know? And he looked belligerent at everybody, and he says, "Can a dead bird fall out of its nest?"
Oh dear.
Famous James Bond. That was really quite good. Uma tells that story. So he was apparently not a menace at that point.
She's back now.
What? Okay. What else?
Thank you, Genla. Thank you, Bob. Very, very happy to be here. I think what I got most these last few days was a really, really good reminder of the importance of the daytime practice in the dream yoga. And I think in the past always hearing, oh, you're dreaming, didn't really work, but this last few days really, you're hearing in the dream, you're thinking in the dream, you're sad in the dream, this kind of reminder was really helpful. That's the main, I think the main practice I'm going to try to focus more on. Thank you everyone for coming.
That's a dream comment.
In the dream.
Yes, I think that's something that I'm bringing away too. I came to dream yoga through a dream that brought me to Nepal. And I have tremendous faith in the power of dreams, but becoming lucid and being able to practice during the day and to merge the daytime and nighttime dream yoga into spiritual practice, thinking of it as a continuation of my daytime meditation is such a gift. It's like, as you say, it's very efficient, it's free, and you can do it anytime. So that it's something I will bring with me in my work as well as in my personal life, especially in the work in Nepal, where there are so many people suffering from so many different kinds of issues, and that will make it more possible for me to do this kind of work. You know, when you give and give, and you see so much suffering around you, the dream yoga, I think, will re-nourish this ability to be compassionate and be generous, and also not be sucked in. That's what I'm hoping.
Yoga can empower you.
It can empower you, but also it can
nourish you.
It can nourish you. It can make it possible to do more than you would normally, or to get beyond this kind of feeling others' pain, so that you can be compassionate and continue giving instead of having it all on your shoulders. So I feel like Dream Yoga is a gift in that way. And,
you did the Dream Yoga retreat already, yeah?
I did with Alan Wallace, but it was a very different concept. It was very different. It was more about consciousness. It was more about... It became less about dreaming and certainly less about pragmatic things. And I told Dr. Nida that in fact...
It was Dream Alan.
Dream Alan, yes. In 7 days with Dream Alan, who is now much more interested in, or at least the retreat was much more concept-oriented around consciousness and quantum mechanics and a lot more of that. I learned more in 1 day with Dr. Nida about actual practical measures of Dream Yoga than I did with the whole week with Alan. No, I learned lots of things from Lama Alan. But the generosity of your teaching is that we can connect in a very practical and pragmatic way, and that it's not something beyond most of us as practitioners, and that it can give you this gift of not only empowerment but effectiveness in the whichever dream world you decide to work in. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
I think that your comment on your compassion and dream yoga, I think this is something very important, because in the Buddhism this says Dongnel Yingje Songju, the union of compassion and emptiness. Mm-hmm. So the more you understand the nature of emptiness, the more your compassion increases. Mm-hmm. So normally for people it's strange, your compassion is empty, then they think there's no compassion. But the more you understand the emptiness, the more you can open and the more you are pervasive. That's why your compassion also more open and more pervasive. So this, I think the theory is difficult to understand, the union of emptiness and compassion. Yes. But something very similar what you are saying, The more you understand the nature of illusion and emptiness, and the more opens. But the more opens we experience this compassion or unconditioned love stronger. But then the more we see the people are suffering and they don't see this, the other part of the suffering is the freedom and the state of the bliss and so on. And then our compassion increases.
It's a kind of non-duality.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think that your topic is very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I hope one day Professor will explain us better in a perfect English. In a perfect English.
I understand both your languages. Yeah, I think we all feel very grateful for your English being as wonderful as it is. Yes. We don't speak Tibetan.
The key thing there that people usually don't say about compassion is that for love and compassion to function effectively, its power is bliss, actually. They don't say it because somebody feels maybe guilty that confronting suffering. What enables them to really be beneficial to the sufferer is their own bliss. Because if you just jump in into the suffering with the sufferer because you have no wisdom,
Exactly.
then you're just they like, get out of here, I'm suffering, don't join me in the suffering. They don't really like that, actually. And so it is when you have the bliss that you get from wisdom, knowing reality, knowing that the reality is bliss, Buddha's main teaching, then you can see how that person can shift from suffering back to finding the bliss in themselves. You know, the first type of compassion that is a genuine compassion in the Buddhist analysis is the one that is combined with wisdom of impermanence. So that when the person you see suffering, you sort of don't reify that suffering, that, oh yeah, they just suffer, that's what they are, I'm so sorry about it, but it's really what they're stuck with. When you know impermanence, you realize your bliss can go and overwhelm their suffering through some strategy, not just by saying bliss or whatever, but you have the energy to do it. So the bliss energy is actually the root of love and compassion. Nobody really wants to be loved by someone more miserable than they are. It doesn't really help. Oh, you love me so much, I feel horrible. Oh yeah, you feel horrible too, but let's check this both be horrible. So you have to have some happiness in yourself. It's our duty, type of thing. Yes, please.
Thank you both for your teachings for the past few days. This is my second dream yoga retreat. So I thought I was going to come and deepen my practice. And on the first night, I dreamt of Dr. Nida. He brought me around somewhere. And then in the end, he said, you just have to believe in yourself. So I kind of felt like, the whole, how many days here was about believing in myself and believing in the power of being able to do all the different things in the dream and bring it into real life as well. So I have a question about lucidity, the quality of it. So sometimes I feel like I'm involved, my whole body is in motion in the dream and lucid, but sometimes I feel like it's making a decision in the dream. Is that being lucid? It doesn't feel as lucid as doing something, but I am
That's called
aware that
semi-lucid, half-lucid. So can be sometimes like kind of lucid, and that's a semi-lucid. But when we say the catching one, when you really get it, that's 100% lucid. You really know you are dreaming. If you are thinking something not sure between yes and no, it's more semi-lucid. Okay? But sometimes even you before fall asleep, you are thinking something, imagining something, your thoughts and imaginations are visible. You can see things. That's called the nyam. It's meditative experience. That's lighter than dream. That one also you can be lucid. Tibetan is called the nyam. I translate it to meditative experiences. Or also in the dream, when you wake up, if you keep eyes closed, sometimes you see like some tree, or somebody, or you are feeling something, this and that. That's called the nyam. So you're already waken up mostly in the dream, but in the between complete awake and the dream, between state, So it's a meditative state. Okay, that's lighter than dream. You can be lucid, that one, but that lucid is less than the dream lucid.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I think you are talking more about that nyam, meditative experiences. Sometimes it can be visions are like that too.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Hi, I don't really have I'm not going to ask a question, I'm just going to share the first dream I had the first night. I dream a lot. And I wake up in my dream and I'm trying to figure out left and right and good and bad and black and white. And then you appeared in a blue light and I saw your face. And I said, oh hey, he said he would be in my dream. There he is. Okay. And then I went back to figuring out the left and the right and the good and the bad. That's it. I just wanted to share that.
But did you know it was a dream?
Yeah, I knew I was dreaming.
You become lucid. Okay. So good thing in the dream, bad thing in the dream.
That part I wasn't sure of what I was trying to do. Oh, I didn't know what I was trying to do, but I knew I was trying to figure something out.
But you knew you were in the dream.
I know I'm in my dreams a lot.
Okay. Okay, so if you know already that's lucid, so you are able to catch your dream, then you have to make the second practice, transformation. Okay? So in the dream yoga, the transformation, there is no judgment. What is good, what is bad, this is right, this is wrong. Okay, maybe this is what your dream is telling you. You should stop judging what is right, what is wrong. So what you do is you should do the transformation. And for transformation, the most important is no questions. Why you should do it, how you should do it, and all these questions. Why, where, how, when. There's no question. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Okay? So if you're able to catch the dream, first we all have to work, to become lucid. This is step one. Lucid in the dream. But once you become lucid, step two is transformation. You can transform the objects in the dream, and you can transform yourself too. Okay? Once you are very good for transforming, the third step is multiplication. Okay? And then the next one, once you are able to transform everything, multiply everything, then you are free from negative emotions. In the dream, you are free from negative emotions. Stress or fear, anxiety, or any anger, any kind of negative emotions. Okay? And then you are ready to do the space travel, Pure Land travel, Shinkam Drimba in Tibetan. And you can visit the Buddhas and Pure Lands and so on. So these are like different steps.
That might take a while.
Huh?
I feel like that might take a while. That might take a while.
But in the dream you can extend time. Did you know that?
That's a good point.
That's why there's no worry in the dream. When you worry, because you don't realize you are in the dream. Once you know in the dream, as Yuthok said, he can extend the time, right? So time is a toy for him. He can expand it, he can...
This video was brought to you in part through the generous support of Tibet House US membership community and viewers like you. To learn more about the benefits of Tibet House membership, please visit tibethouse.us. Thanks for watching. Tashi Delek.